I never thought I would become homeless. I never thought I would spend more than 100 days in jail over charges that would later be dropped. And I never thought I would lose years with my children. But life has a way of taking you places you never imagined. My name is Ricardo Stoyle, and this is my story. I'm not sharing this because I want pity. I'm not sharing this because I want revenge. And I'm certainly not sharing it because I think I'm perfect. I've made plenty of mistakes. And I've gotten things wrong. And I've struggled. Just like anyone else. What I'm sharing is simply what happened to me, what I learned from it, and why it changed the direction of my life forever. There was a time when my life looked very different. I owned a company. I had an MBA. I worked with government agencies and Fortune 500 companies. I managed teams and built brands. I traveled internationally and provided for my family. My children attended private schools. From the outside, it looked like I had made it. I believed in hard work. I believed in entrepreneurship. I believed that if you treated people well and kept moving forward, you would overcome almost anything. Then life started coming apart. Not because of one event, not because of one bad decision, but because of a series of personal, financial, emotional, and legal challenges that slowly dismantled the life I had spent years building. I came to the United States hoping to build a new future, living the American dream. Then COVID changed the world. Work changed, relationships changed, the economy changed, and my life changed. Depression entered my life in a way I had never experienced before. There were days when I honestly didn't know what direction I was supposed to go. But even then, I kept trying. I wrote books, I started projects, I built a workshop in my garage. I invested a lot of money in tools. I bought inventory to sell. I learned new skills. I searched for opportunities wherever I could find them. Not because I was trying to get rich, but because I was trying to survive. I was trying to rebuild. And at the same time, my marriage was falling apart. And while everything around me seemed to be collapsing, I found myself asking questions I had never really asked before. Questions about purpose. Questions about identity. Questions about who I wanted to become. Questions about what really matters when everything you thought that was permanent starts disappearing. Then came the moment that changed everything. I lost access to my home. And people hear that sentence and think it's about a house. It's not. A house can be replaced. What I lost was the foundation that made rebuilding possible. My tools, my computers, all my projects and plans, my ability to start over. One thing I wish more people understood is this. Homelessness isn't just about not having a roof. That's the part people see. What they don't see is what comes next. Everything becomes harder. Finding work, receiving mail, charging a phone, staying clean, protecting your belongings, planning for the future when you don't know how you're going to get your next meal or some water. The moment survival becomes your full-time job, rebuilding becomes almost impossible. Eventually, I lost my car and I became homeless. And before that happened, I thought I understood homelessness. I had opinions. I had assumptions. I thought I knew what people were going through. But the truth, I had no idea. What I discovered is that most people are far closer to homelessness than they realize. A divorce, a medical emergency, a lost job, a legal conflict, a mental health crisis, a few major setbacks arriving at the same time. That's all it takes. There was a time when I was running businesses, managing teams, and building a future for my family. A few years later, I was sleeping in the woods, searching dumpsters, wondering how I got there and how I'm going to rebuild my life. That experience changes you. I built shelters. I learned to survive with almost nothing. I learned how resourceful human beings can become when they have no other choice. But homelessness changes more than your circumstances. It actually changes your nervous system. You stop sleeping deeply. You become hypervigilant. Every sound matters. Every stranger becomes a variable. Every day becomes a calculation. Where will I sleep tonight? Are the cops gonna find me? Will my belongings still be here tomorrow? Can I stay safe? How can I make it through another week? Where can I take a shower? People often judge what they see. What they don't see is the biological reality of living in survival mode 24 hours a day. I know because I lived it. One of the hardest chapters came when I found myself facing criminal charges connected to my own residence. I spent more than 100 days in jail. Eventually, the charges were dropped because they're bogus. But the consequences didn't disappear. The stigma remains. The background checks still stopped me from getting a job. And every time I try to start over, that shadow has followed me. Again and again, I've applied for jobs. Again and again, opportunities disappear before I can explain my situation. So I have adapted. Because survival teaches adaptation. It teaches creativity and resilience. It teaches you to find solutions when no one is going to come and rescue you. But if there's one thing that kept me alive through all of it, it wasn't money. It wasn't success. It wasn't pride. It was love. The love for my children. Because the deepest pain wasn't losing possessions. It wasn't losing status or losing comfort. It was losing time. Time with my children. That's something nobody can ever give me back. I can rebuild my finances. I can replace my possessions. I can create new opportunities. But I can't recover a lost childhood. I can't relive lost birthdays. I can't recreate the years I haven't been with them. That is the wound I carry every day. My children are the reason I have survived. Not because I always felt strong, and not because I never wanted to give up, but because I love them enough to keep going when quitting would have been easier. And because I hope that one day they would know the truth. Not rumors, not assumptions, not fear. Just truth. That I struggled, that I suffered, that I made mistakes, but that I never stopped trying, and I've never stopped caring. And I never stopped loving them. As the years have passed, something unexpected happened. The experiences that nearly destroyed me began teaching me. The streets became my classroom, and the people I met have become my teachers. The pain has become my education. I've met veterans. I've met workers. I've met mothers, children in the streets, people struggling with addiction, people struggling with trauma, people who have been abandoned by the systems that were supposed to help them. And I realized something. Every homeless person has a story, and every struggling person has a story. Every statistic represents a human being. My story isn't unique. Thousands of people are living versions of it every day. The difference is that most of their stories are never heard. That realization changed me. I could have become bitter. I could have become focused on only what I had lost. But instead, I chose purpose. I returned to school. I pursued another master's degree. I graduated with honors. I studied journalism because I wanted to understand systems. I wanted to tell stories. I wanted to shine light into places most people never look. That journey became exposesilence.org. That journey became Spiritus Invictus as a nonprofit foundation. Not because I wanted fame, not because I wanted attention, but because I believe suffering can be transformed into service. I believe that leadership is stewardship. I believe dignity matters. I believe families matter. I believe animals matter. I believe compassion matters. And I believe in a society cannot solve problems it refuses to see. People sometimes ask me if I wish I could go back, if I wish none of this had happened. The honest answer is complicated, because I would never wish this pain on anyone. I would never wish the loss, the loneliness, the uncertainty, the years I've missed with my children. But I cannot deny what those experiences taught me. It's taught me compassion. It's taught me resilience. It's taught me humility. And taught me that every person has a story you cannot see from the outside. And it taught me that some of the most important people in this world are the people society no longer notices. Today, my mission is different. I tell stories. I investigate. I advocate. I build. Not because I have all the answers, but because I have lived some of the questions. I created Exposed Silence because too many voices go unheard. I created Spiritus Invictus because I believe people deserve the opportunity to rebuild their lives. Not everyone gets a second chance. Many never even get one. If my children ever watch this, I want them to know one thing. I never stopped loving you. Not for one day. Not for one moment. Everything I did was driven by the hope that one day you would know who your father truly is. Not through rumors, not through accusations, not through fear, but through truth. Through perseverance, through service, through love. This is not the story of a victim. This is the story of a man who lost almost everything and discovered that purpose survives loss. A man who learned that hardship can become wisdom, that suffering can become service, and that even after everything burns, something meaningful can still rise from the ashes. I survived for my children. And now I live so that others may not have to walk the same path alone. I love you, babies. Hope to see you someday, hopefully very soon.